Just let you know, that thing cost us 75,000 naira. I always say it. You always say it. Later, she will accuse me of clapping. See her clapping.
Clapping case.
Well, the show was created for regular women to come together and show that there could be options to life's issues. Sometimes it seemed like everything was a one-way street in thinking. So the ladies of YourView often, half the time, we're just trying to show people that, listen, there's no one way of doing things. There are options, there are different ways. We are diverse in religion, we're diverse in culture, we're diverse in exposures, but yet we all have the same perspective, different perspectives to different issues. So the idea really was to bring women to speak their truth based on where they are coming from, which can also help and resonate with others who are watching them from TV. The ladies of YourView are amazing women. They are passionate women. They are confident in who they are. They are women who have an opinion, who have things to say. Their voices must be heard. And they're women who believe things can be better. And they are women who also believe in a better Nigeria. They believe that women also have a role to play in Nigeria's development. So they speak their truth, they speak their understanding, hoping that others who are like them can connect and then begin to see things in different perspectives. So the ladies are 6 in number. Let me start according to how they came on the show. I was the first. I auditioned for, I created the show. I was a convener. I had the idea because I lived in the US for some time and I was in America when The View with Alberto Walters started, and I fell in love with it. I knew that when I come back to Nigeria, I had to replicate. So when I got the job at TVC, I told my boss, Uncle, this job and this show, I must do it. And he said, no problem. So I met Tope. Tope had come in for audition for Entertainment Splash, and I was looking for like 18 to 24. And when she came in, I'm like, Auntie, you are not the age I'm looking for. She now said, don't worry. So when I had the idea for the show, I met Tope first, and Tope had auditioned for Entertainment Splash at the time. Unfortunately, she didn't fit into the age bracket of what I was looking for. So I told her there's another show coming up later in the year that I would call her up. And then when that time came, we brought her in. So Tope Makodige is one of the ladies of YourView. Then we have Yeni Anikulapo Kuti. Yeni was not our original members. YK was invited when the other middle-aged lady at the time left, Auntie Tayo, I believe, Adejimo. She left, and so we had to look for somebody else at that age group because I was very crystal clear. I wanted older, I wanted younger, I wanted single, I wanted married, I wanted different religions. It was very deliberate. So we had to go and look for YK. So YK Kuti, that's how YK Kuti joined the team. Then up next is Nima. Now Nima, there was a time when I used to come to the show and I realized that every Monday morning, the ladies are talking about, Pastor said this, Pastor said that, they're all Christians. Then I realized that we need a Muslim on this set. So I specifically called out for an audition for a Muslim. And lots of Muslims came forward and we picked the one who was smart, who I felt that had enough Islamic background, who was somewhat conservative, and it was very deliberate to bring her on. So that's how Nima joined. Nima Akashat Zibiri joined the show. And then Obia Julu joined the show. She used to come in to actually be a co-host. And then the opportunity came, and I said, you know what? Since she has already been coming as a guest co-host, we might as well bring her on. Then we also called her auditions when we needed more ladies. So then there was Miriam Longe. You know, she auditioned, and you know, we wanted a northern angle. We actually wanted somebody. So Biajilu was supposed to help in providing the southeastern. Although later, after I now found out she wasn't a real southeastern. She was somewhat southish. Yeah. But initially, the original plan was to bring someone from the southeast. But she was Obiajulu Ugbo, so it fitted perfectly. Then we wanted somebody from the north. So Mariam was perfect. She's from the middle belt. So she came in with the northern perspective, which was really critical from Jos Plateau State. So it was important for her to be on the show. So we have different, diverse perspectives on the show. I have never known that YourView would last this long. Even when we started, nobody ever really gave us a chance, except for my former MD, Mr. Lemi Olalemi. He was the only one that said, you know what, Mariah, this show, we're going to pull it through. But I never knew it was going to be 10 years. I didn't even realize it was going to take this long. I just thought that eventually patriarchy would just say, move those women out of this TV. They can't be talking nonsense on TV. But eventually, we're still here. I mean, I'm so thankful to TVC as a platform. I'm thankful to our viewers who have kept us on air. It's their support, their participation that is causing people to love the show and keep us on air. So absolutely, I'm so grateful to God that we've done 10 years already. One of the greatest challenge of being the host of this show, and I'll probably say also a leader on this show, is having to lose 1, 2, or 3 ladies of YourView at some point. That's been painful, because I knew that everybody who has ever been on the show came here because they bought into the vision. They were crystal clear that, you know what, Muriel, this is what you're trying to achieve, and we're going to buy that vision with you. So for them to leave for one reason or another, it was quite challenging for me. But it's life. Life happens. Things would happen. People will move on for different reasons. But it was a huge challenge because I knew that they were bringing value. And that value was always difficult to replace. Another person will come in, bring their own unique value. But that value that you lost, you might never get it back. So that was huge for me at the time when these ladies leave. But hey, as I said, life happens. Yeah, that time when I said my husband couldn't bath my daughter, it was a very difficult time. It was a dark time for me. It was painful because my husband had no idea. He was in camp. He didn't have a clue. He just came back. I told him this happened. He said, hey, don't mind them. They're okay, it's okay. You know, just brushed aside. Until he opened his phone, saw the post himself, started reading the comments. Said, what? This is the gravity of what you did? I thought you just said something and it was... Then he now broke down, saying, Muriel, you embarrassed me. Every morning I climb on that pulpit, I'm singing in church. Do you know what people will be thinking of me as a pedophile? Do you know what that means? Then that's when I now knew I did something, you know, but it was such a painful period. But I'm grateful for the maturity my husband took. He was a mature man. He knew that this could break me, and he knew that I didn't mean it from my heart. He knew that that's not who Muriel is. So because he knew who I am, he was able to defend me. In the house, he was shouting, he was upset. But outside, he said, you know what? He stood by me. So that period, he earned my respect during that period, and I'm so grateful for him for that.
Hello, my name is Miriam Longe, and I'm one of the ladies of YourView. I joined YourView 5 years ago. And when I joined, I was a complete greenhorn. I had no idea about TV or radio or anything. Of course, I love to watch the program, but I'd never myself been on TV. So when I came, of course, I came with a lot of nerves. I would say for the first few weeks, even maybe a month, I would have my voice shaking, my hands shaking, but I was excited to be there, and I got the support of the other ladies of YourView who would encourage me. Some of them would, tell me their own stories of how they started as well and how they overcame that. So that was how it was. It was a shaky beginning, but here we are today. So one thing about our show is we're constantly talking about life issues. So to pick one would be quite hard, but I would never forget when a woman came on our show and I was talking about the number of girl children that she was seeing, like in a therapy, arrangement, who were being abused by their fathers, and the mothers were aware. I remember that shook me. And in fact, in answer to how I coped in the first few years when I started, is that many of the stories I would take home with me, and it would affect me throughout the day, So there are so many stories. You know how it is, you live in your bubble, but all of a sudden you're now on a show that opens you up to a whole world that you never even imagined. And some of those stories were quite difficult. But I would say that maybe over the years I've built like a strong armor, but in the very beginning it was quite tough. So that particular story shook me. So we love the show, and I love the show, and yes, everybody likes to be in front of the camera, but I love the show specifically because of the women on the show, because of my colleagues. We're very supportive of each other. CEO, all of us have our own square. But in the end, we're quite supportive of each other. But secondly, it would be remiss for me not to mention Muriel's type of personality and her leadership style. Mariah is so humble, sometimes even to our annoyance. She hasn't even fully grasped the importance of the legacy that she has just built or she's building, And in that, she was constantly wanting to be your friend. Even when she gives you feedback, she thinks it's a bit uncomfortable. She wants to make sure that after that feedback, you're still good. She's always checking up on us. She's quite selfless. I don't want to paint her like an angel, but truly, Mariah is one of the reasons all the ladies enjoy the show, because we know that in the end, you can still go to Mariah and talk to her and she will listen to you. So it makes for a comfortable, and enjoyable work. If Mariah didn't have the personality that she had, if she wasn't the sort of person that was willing to allow people sometimes, have their way, if she was that very strong autocratic, I believe that the show wouldn't have lasted as long. Her selflessness has worked a long way in keeping us together for this long.
Okay, I am Dr. BC Ugo. I would say I stumbled on the show. I knew I had a friend, Top Emma Kodige, who I knew. I'd heard sometime that she was doing something on TV. I wasn't sure, but we're models. We modeled together as teenagers, so we would see once in a while. And I was a music artist at the time. I was promoting my music, so I invited her to do my makeup. And by the time she came, she was like, okay, we're looking for, there's this thing I do, we're coming for, we used to get women to come and speak from time to time. We'd like to have you on. And at the time I was promoting my music, the last music video I did, Ife, I had come on Entertainment Splash a few months back to do an interview. So in my head, I felt she was inviting me to be interviewed as a celebrity guest. So when I came to the makeup room that day, they gave me newspaper to read. I said, I knew I studied political science, but I hated anything politics. I was panicking. I said, why are they giving me newspaper? Well, I chested it. I like to chest my things and just go with a bold face. So I took the paper. When we got on set that day, one of the ladies actually took the story I had taken. So I had no story to give. I just added addendum to what she had said. Then after the interview, I enjoyed the whole thing. We talked very light issues, relationship lifestyle, which was my forte. And I enjoyed it. And Mariah looked at me and said, I like you. If I invite you to come, would you like to come anytime you're free? And I said, yes. So when we went outside, I told Tokwe that, I'd like to be coming. I really like it. And then my husband was asking her that, you didn't ask me any questions about your music. You were not interviewed as an artist. And then Tokwe said, no, I brought her as a guest co-host. That was the first time I was hearing that word, guest co-host. So I started coming from them. From time to time, producers would reach out to me. So we need you on the show. I would come all the way from Alakoko. I would drive down to the show. I really enjoyed it. And I kept coming till they needed to add more people to join the show. And luckily for me, I was a part of it. It's been an interesting one. So the platform seems little, but it's actually big, and it helps you grow in ways and dimensions that you have never thought about. So for the first time, even though I studied political science, I didn't pay attention to policies and politics till I got on the show. And when I got on, I would say some things. My political science students would chat me and call me. I said, yeah, Julie, you're doing well. I'm like, but I'm not interested. When I started paying attention to, because we have to read the newspapers every morning, we know what is happening in the country. We know the policies that are gone wrong. We know the ones that are working. We have guests, ministers, commissioners come on the show and tell us about these things firsthand. I started understanding Nigeria. I started understanding the problems we had as a people, and that strengthened my conversation. I go out and I sit with men and I'm talking politics. I learned everything on YourView. It was an opportunity to develop my mind. And because I'm a lifelong learner, I started reading a lot of books. I went straight into personal development. I became a life coach on the show. I became a lot of things on the show. So I'm someone who's naturally multi-talented. I was a music artist. I was a rapper. I was so many things before I came on the show. But I grew more on the show because of the opportunities that were open to me. And I have enjoyed myself so far being a part of the show. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with Mariah. I wanna feel the heat with Miriam. Hey, I wanna dance with the ladies. With somebody who loves me.
So let me tell you about NSAS, what happened. When the whole thing started, the ladies of YourView and I were talking about it. We condemned a lot of the police brutality that we saw on social media. We spoke against it, and we spoke truth to power. But when that shooting happened at the toll gate, that day, even the management was scared that, are you sure you want to go on air? I was called, my manager called me. I said, listen, we've been speaking all this while. I'm not going to use because of what happened and stop the ladies. And it was a difficult decision to make that we should come on. We didn't have any intel, but we just knew that we owed Nigerians to do that show the very next day. So when I got approval that the show would go on, I called the ladies, I said, guys, I even sent them a message, I said, guys, tomorrow's show might be the very last show we do because we don't know what's going to happen to that station. We don't know what's going to happen to us. And I want you to come on set tomorrow, give your everything. You're going to say it as it is. Don't worry about whose oxes are God. Just say your mind. And I tell you, let us wear black to be able to connect with those who may have lost their loved ones, you know. So it was a very, very tense time. So the next day was clear because of the tension that we thought might happen. The other ladies, Mariam, BC, Nima, had to stay back, and I think YK was myself, Tokwe, and just the two of us on set that day because we knew we had to be on set. The other ladies joined virtually. So we started the show. Of course, my management knew that something might happen, so they brought in police. I think 2 police cars were on standby just to help us. And then people were talking in my ears, oh, Mariah, okay, go for a commercial break, you come back, just like the producers and directors speak in my ears. And suddenly, everything went, Mom, I didn't hear anything. Nobody was talking to me, I didn't know what was going on. I was saying, hello, who is there, what's next, what do we do next? Nobody said anything. I was trying to find out what's happened. So the producer, and the guy, the crew, were wondering, what's going on? So they now opened the door to see, maybe trying to go upstairs to find out what's going on upstairs. And they saw people already coming inside, throwing fire inside the newsroom, because right outside our studio was a newsroom. That's when they said, oh my goodness, they're here already. So we quickly went to the back, we locked the back exit door, we locked everywhere. We had to cut off the TV because obviously we knew they were off air. We called our guys, everybody said, just stay where you are, don't worry, stay where you are. We called the police, the commissioner of police was called, everybody was called. He said, stay put, the police is there to support you, getting the call for reinforcement. So we kept waiting and waiting and waiting. We kept trying to peep, we couldn't peep because we knew there was danger outside. Eventually, when we waited for so long and nobody was calling us, one of the camera guys went to the back door, opened up the door, and then saw that the fire had already started. So initially it wasn't fire in the newsroom, it was actually people scattering things. Guys had entered the newsroom, scattering everywhere, throwing stuff and destroying things. So we locked up that place and put chairs to block the door. But when he went outside, he now saw the fire already, the building was already burning. He now said, Ma, they started throwing fire to the building. And then knew that we couldn't stay there because if we stayed there, God forbid anything happens. Although we were told by the police to stay where we were. I said, guys, if there's anything I know about safety, let's get out. So as we walked outside, those boys saw us. I was wearing skirts. Topper was ready for something like that, so she wore trousers. I couldn't jump off the railing. Topper jumped off, everybody jumped off. They caught me because I couldn't jump, and I went down. They punched me twice, took my phone. I was punched. The guy punched me 2 times. Took my phone, and all the crowd came around us. They were pushing us. It was a very difficult. Even my producer was attacked. He tried to jump. He broke his leg. Till today, he still has a limp. Our producer, Mr. Dollar from Meredith. And so people were running for their lives. According to them, when they saw the attack, they were all running for their lives. We, by God's grace, when we were pushed, people were now seeing us. They were being pushing us out of TVC. The neighbors were seeing us that watched the show. These are the ladies of YourView. They started calling themselves to come down to come and rescue us. So we also had people. I have to give this lady her credit. Tiana Toyin Lawani. I didn't know her from anywhere. She just called me. I have sent somebody to you. They'll pick you up. As we step out the gate, this big man grabbed me and just took us away. Because later we found out that she was able to get one of her friends there to come and rescue us because those guys were going to mob. They're ready to just, to do anything to us because they were just angry. So it was a very difficult. So when people were saying that, oh, the lady of YourView, they pay them, there's this, say we've been speaking truth to power from day one. Yes, politicians will say their own, they'll try to call you, but one of the things we have leadership that said, you know what, don't worry, I will fight you in government. Your own is go on TV and speak. And that is the guidance we've gotten from my own management. Well, don't worry, I'll fight government. It's not politicians. Don't worry, we'll defend you guys. Your own is go on TV and speak the truth.
I was not on set. Yes, but I will give you a background. So the day before, most of us could not even leave the office. It was much later at night. I will never forget. I got home, I think, almost past 10 before I could get home on that particular day. That was the day before the attack, because there were so many people on this road. There were these boys on the road who were already warning us, if you know what's good for you, don't come back. So for BC and I, Nima and YK, we live much farther away from the studio. So Mariah advised that for those of us that are much farther, we could stay home and join virtually. But she and Tokwe lived closer to the studio at the time. So we felt that if anything happened, since they were closer home, they would be able to escape. But in my wildest imagination, I did not think that what happened on the 21st of October 2021 was going to be that bad. I knew we would get trolled. I knew we would be called out because we had seen it. And for me, the reason I'm talking about this is to talk about the danger of allowing false narratives just be perpetuated on social media. Someone posted a lie and said that TVC staff had been asked to say some things or not to say some things to protect those protect police or police brutality. And it was such an outright lie. But one Nigerian typed out those words and posted it. That thing was reposted, resaid. People took it in as if it was the truth, and they used that eye to judge us. So it did not matter how many years we had been on the show. It did not matter that every day we come and talk about against police brutality. It did not matter that we were the first people to invite, speakers who were aggrieved concerning the issues. It didn't matter. All of a sudden, just because of one tiny lie on social media, they were ready to burn us down. And I would say till today, I am disappointed. I'm disappointed in the Nigerians that did it. I'm disappointed also in those that we gave a platform to talk about police brutality, and they did not use their voice to say, that is not true. We have been on their show. We know what they stand for. So I still feel disappointed anytime I think about it, and I hope I'll be able to get over it someday.
Yeah, so I personally think it's unfair to, get so upset that you forget logic and reasoning. I've been on TV, YourView, TVC, for the last 5 years, and I have never seen Bola Ahmed Tinubu come to the station. I don't think he knows me. He has never written a letter. He has never influenced what I said on the show or what I did not say on the show. I've never gotten a warning from him not to say this or not to say that. The way the show is, done in such a way that when we get the newspapers, we pick the stories and we have an opportunity to air our personal opinion. Sometimes when we need to use professionals to get the real statistics, aside from what the paper gives us, we invite professionals in those fields and they handle the statistics. And when we need to also mention statistics, we read up on those numbers. But most of the time, we air our personal opinion. And we started the conversation of NSAS before most people started that conversation. We're the first people who started talking about it, started talking about police brutality, amongst other things. It was so unfair that people would not want to attack where Nigerians are earning a living. Nigerians are working. There are people there who do not know him personally, who were just employed like we were, and they are earning a living. And then you come there to destroy their means of livelihood because you want to attack a man. I saw it as too much. I saw it as going overboard. I saw it as not redirecting our anger in the way we should direct that anger. And I didn't like the fact that even after we would speak for the people, we seemed like we were fighting for the people. The same people will come back and attack us. In fact, after that enters period, I sort of just shut my mouth a little from really speaking for the people. But I'm over it now, and I'm back to what I'm supposed to be doing.
I believe that the future is just bright. I'm excited for the future because I've seen what the first 5 years have been so far. That's for me personally. Then the 10 years. You know, when something is built on a strong foundation, and this particular show, this project has been built on hard work, discipline, friendship, support, truth, honesty. I mean, it's just, what won't grow on a foundation like that? So I am excited for 15, for 20, for 25 years. There's something Mariah likes to say, that she's looking forward to a time when, you know, we're so old and we are watching YourView in our homes, you know, with our tiny cups of tea, and we're seeing a much younger generation, you know, doing this. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
The future is bright. For me, the future of YourView TVC is amazing. YourView with Mariah. The future actually holds a lot that we have not even started, because I know that the first few years of that show was like a seed time for them. They were planting and planting and planting. We haven't even begun to reap all of the seeds that they have planted. You know, when you plant your seeds, you have different fruits coming out of them. Some take longer than others. We still have to reap what we have planted. I see YourView breaking barriers. I see YourView women being invited to do TED Talks just because you're a woman of YourView. You know, we will graduate from being ladies of YourView. I'm actually 16 years and my age is never going to change, but we will graduate from being called the ladies of YourView to the women of YourView. And the show will keep growing and growing and expanding in different dimensions. And I see the hand of God. You know, there's something about Mariah that I've noticed. She's a child of grace, right? She comes to do her job with an open mind, with a selfless mind, with a mind that does not hold in, that does not, a mind that's not envious, a mind that wants every individual to grow. And when you have that growth mindset, not just for yourself, but for every life that you touch, growth will never depart from you. So YourView is going to grow. YourView is going to be already a household name. But in the world, YourView is going to stand at par with different international shows. YourView is an international show, and we will see that.
The future of YourView for me is in two parts. I'll probably like to talk about the future for the ladies and the future of the show. So the ladies, I think each of the ladies have grown. I mean, I can remember when everybody started, and I know where they are today, and I've seen a huge growth. You know, Topper now is a real estate mogul. She's doing very well, traveling around the world, and she's been able to start her business. And now I see her in future as a force to reckon with in the real estate. Mariam has started in environmental. She's worried about climate change, and I see her traveling the world, talking about climate change, the importance of Africa, starting and continuing the conversation on environmental degradation and climate change. Just that's her area, her forte, the animals, you know. So she has written a book on vultures, you know. So I see that she has grown, and I can only see her having being this internationally acclaimed author on environment. And Obiajilu, importer, exporter, she has different businesses that sort different. She's a personal coach, she's a singer, she's a minister, and she has multiple gifts. That kind of person is somebody that is a role model to many people. Like, I see her owning businesses. I see her having stores in different parts of the world. I see her becoming that Nike store, you know, having an empire. So it's such a bright future. YK has invested in Celebration even before YourView ever started, and Celebration has grown. We have seen Celebration grow in leaps and bounds even since she started the show. So I know it's going to get bigger. The brand which she has and which she's owning, she's going to be passing on, and I think she's getting bigger as she is. Nima is a lawyer. She's a voice for Muslimas, for women, especially women in hijabs. She's a woman. She's going to be a force to reckon with when it comes to fighting for the rights of women, especially women in hijab. That they're educated, that they're a voice to be reckoned with. They are powerful. They have opinions. this is something she has done and she's been doing. She cares for the brokenhearted, the downtrodden. That's what Nima fights for. So these women have evolved. So the future for these women is huge, is great, is bright. I see them becoming multiple successes across board. And for the show will grow. And my desire, and I think as Mariam had said earlier, is that I want to be old and I want to see YourView being replicated. You know, people say, oh, people are doing your type of show, somebody's replicating. I say, please replicate it, I beg you. Because women must speak. Let's replicate it in Igbo. Let's replicate it in Hausa. Let's replicate it in Nishekiri. Let's replicate it in all languages. Let women across platforms, across countries, across states, everybody should have a voice to speak. Because the truth is that we must begin to learn from each other. There are experiences, there are exposures that I have, even our traditions, that we need to change, modify, and expunge, you know. So things need to be spoken. We shouldn't leave patriarchy to make decisions for us. So women must speak. So my desire and plan for YourView is that we will grow 20 years, 30 years. If I'm not even hosting, if the ladies are not even hosting, let other people host it. Let people speak. And that's the desire, that YourView will continue to create a platform for women, not professionals, not just journalists, but real women who have an opinion to express their views without discrimination or fear.
The bad sides of our leader, Mariah. Number one, she doesn't like confrontation, right? She would rather just have the peace. It's the peace that's most important to her. But we've realized in life that sometimes you need to go to war so that when the peace comes, the peace is real and genuine. And for people like me, I can't deal with any peace that is not genuine. I'd rather just stay in my space. So she's changing now, haven't met me, because I always remind her to try and put yourself first sometimes. So she would rather just let everybody have it. Let them, I don't want wahala. She would rather not push for that thing that she wants. She just, well, don't worry, when I need it, it will come to me. She would rather just let everything just be, and it's good to a large extent, but sometimes people take advantage of you and you need to hold yourself and be more direct so that people can respect your boundaries. So she's growing, she's becoming a tougher kind of somebody. I don't let her be. I will always we have to fight this fight and all of that. And I think God has brought us to her as sisters as well, so that we can help rub off on each other. She has rubbed off on me as well. I now am able to collaborate with women without thinking who would outshine anyone. I learned to share on the show, and I understand that the sky is wide enough for all the birds to fly. Yeah.
So interestingly, what BC has said she does not like about Mariah is what I actually admire about Mariah, and I think really that's what makes the core of her. If you don't have someone who is that, maybe some people comes across as being, she does not think of herself first. I don't want to use selfish. I don't want to use that word. Like what someone may see as being not thinking of herself. For me, I feel that selflessness has gone a long way in helping her achieve some of the things that she has achieved. People gravitate towards pure-heartedness. People gravitate towards that sacrifice, and I feel that people are willing to repay sacrifice with sacrifice. So that's something I admire about her. But what I don't like about Mariah, Mariah can shout, and when she's upset about something in her house or her village, you will feel the atmosphere at the table. You'll be asking yourself, what is it me? I'm just breathing here. Why is she upset? Because I'm breathing. You know, you're like, okay, maybe I should hold my breath. But it has nothing to do with you. She has just brought it from wherever she has. And then she goes, I'm just upset today. I'm just upset. I'm like, no, how is it my fault that you're upset for when you're upset? So that I don't like about Mariah. I want Mariah to keep her anger issues and direct her anger to the person that deserves the anger, and she don't come and share it with me at the table. Yes.